We have had quite a lively time at our house. Mary's daughter, Madison, was visiting us, and she brought her dog, Dudley. So we have two Labradoodles in the house. And then I went and picked up my grandson, Christian, who was with us for 3 solid days and nights. And it was great. He was so excited. He's been told you're going to be able to stay at Papa and Honey's house, and they're going to have great food, and you're going to have adventures. And Papa's going to take you out on a boat, which I did very quickly. He was not as excited about being on a boat as I thought he would be. He sat on my lap. The boat we had was about 18 feet with a 150 horsepower Mercury engine, which is very loud. And after about 20 minutes out on the boat, he was go, Papa, I'd like to go in your car now. And so we're out in the sound, and I had to, bring it back right away. I think it was the noise. I don't know. Kids are strange. But anyway, we had a great time. And what I've discovered is if you are going to be a really involved grandparent that wants the kid to have things that he just will remember the rest of his life, which he actually won't, you're going to be spending some money. We took him to the Discovery Museum, which is a museum near where I live, where they have a lot of, turtles and paths, and you can walk out on a deck and see where birds are and all that sort of thing. And they also have a gift store. I'll be doggone. And he goes into the gift store and he decides that he wants to have a little stuffed dolphin that comes in a little carrying soft thing. Well, that was $25. And I went, okay, he loves it. He's got it. And now we're hungry. So near the Discovery Museum is a restaurant that's on a tributary. And you ever see a restaurant that like has a good view, but there's just something about it that says to you, I don't think the food here is very good. It's great view, but I don't think the food is very good. We ordered him a corn dog. I had, what did I have? I had the shrimp basket, and Mary had a shrimp salad with little shrimp. Have you ever seen shrimp that are so little and they're white? There's no pinkishness, and they're put on the top of a salad. And you
Like
look
little
at
bay
them, and
shrimp? Yeah, like little
yeah,
teeny
you
bay shrimp. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you look at it and you go, that's not too hearty. That's all we had. A chocolate milk and a couple of Cokes. $70. $70.
What?
And then, of course, you have to tip. So now $85. So add the dolphin and all of that. You're up around in 1.5 hours. I'm out $125. But you just have to say, we don't get them very long. We don't get them very long. But that's in the back of my mind. Anyway, he had a blast. And one of the things that I was very pleased with is, how when you're the grandparent or you're an aunt or you're taking care of somebody else's kid, you are on point because if anything happens, I don't care if it comes out of the blue from a Martian, you're on point and you let it happen. I take him to this kids' park where they have a replica of like a pirate ship, and it's wonderful. And kids can crawl all over it. And up he goes. He's 4 years old. He's climbing up the ropes, and he's on the second floor of the pirate ship. I'm on the ground. So I'm climbing up the ropes now. And, at this point in my life, climbing up ropes onto a replica of a pirate ship is not something I'm really interested in doing, but I got to be there. He starts walking across this rope ladder that has slats that are a little bit opened. And as he's walking across, his foot goes through the slats. He goes crashing down to his knee, and he doesn't bump his head, but he's shocked and he is screaming. And of course, I run down, pick him up, get him out, and I'm holding him. And I'm holding him saying, I wonder if he broke an ankle. I wonder if I'm thinking about Kevin. I wonder if he hurt his knee and I've got to take him somewhere. I wonder if he's cut all this and that. And I'm just holding him, holding him, holding him. And it's so exhausting. And finally, I thought, he's never going to go on that side of that pirate ship again. He's never going to do it again. He's going to stay on the ground. And he did on the ground. until about 10 minutes later. And I watched him, and he went over to the rope that climbs up to the second floor of the pirate ship. And I'm right behind him because at the top is that slat bridge. And he stood there and he looked at the slat bridge. And I'm thinking, this is going to tell you what kind of a kid he is. And he looked at it and he looked at it and he went on it. And he looked down with one foot and then the next foot and then the next foot. And then he got across and he turned around and looked at me and smiled. And I went, good boy. So now he will never be afraid of that slat bridge again.
Sign up for our newsletter. We never spam you.
Never did.
Get Bob and Sheri exclusives. Just go to bobandsheri.com.
As I was mentioning earlier, Mary and I had Christian, my grandson, for several days. Landon, with Landon Lacey Jewelry, went to a jewelry show in Tucson, Arizona. So we kept Christian, and Elle went to her grandmother, my ex. So it was kind of, divide and conquer. And it was so much fun. I mean, it was just an absolute blast. But I have to tell you, I haven't chased around after a little one in a long time. And there were two of us. There's Mary and me, actually three, because Madison was visiting with her dog also. So there were three of us. And still, at the end of the day, to get him into bed, and we promised that he'd be able to sleep with Honey, which is Mary's grandma name. The mistake was we were told, don't give him any sugar unless you'll pay the price. But you know me, it's just like, how bad could it be? It could be bad. I watched after he had one sugared popsicle, not a double stick, just a single stick. All of a sudden, the eyes are wide and it's party time. And he had that just before bed, and it was almost impossible to get him down. But the most stressful thing is that he's 4 years old, and Elle is 2. If you are charged with them, you cannot take your eyes off of them. You just can't. Now, if they're yours and they're, in your house, and you kind of know, off of the back of your head, you've got eyes as a mother or father, you kind of know exactly what they're doing. But if they're at your house, it's different. And so you are following them around. We walked in because I picked him up. I got him out of the car seat, and we walked into the house after I picked him up. And the two dogs, Finn and Dudley, which is Madison's dog, are at the front door, and they are staring with tails going crazy. And I walk him up the stairs, and Dudley freaked out because I don't think he'd ever seen a creature that size that was not a dog. And he turned around and ran to the other side of the living room and just sat there and looked. And then he was pacing back and forth, and he'd come a little bit closer. And Kristen would go, "Doggy," or something like that. And Dudley would run to the other side of the house. And then he'd come a little closer because Dudley wants to be with people. He's a Labradoodle too. And he went up one time, and this is what I heard. Grrr, grrr. And I looked over at Christian, and Christian's eyes got big, and he grabbed my leg. And so for 3 days, not only do you have to make sure that they're not taking one of the pokers from the fireplace, but you've got to keep an eye on where is Dudley and where is Christian. Because I'm not going to be the grandparent that calls my daughter and says, everything's going great. Yeah. Now, he's going to be fine. We got the stitches. But he and Dudley did not get along. I can't be that guy. And so for 3 days, I'm one eye here on Dudley, one eye on Christian. And it's so stressful. It's just so stressful. You're loving it when you're sitting next to him and you're coloring with him, right? And sometimes you could get away with letting him watch Mickey Mouse on TV. That's about the only thing they allow. But when he's just kind of running free, you got to follow him because he could find something, in Mary's bathroom with all the makeup stuff, and you just don't know what they're going to be doing next. And so,
and you forget like
You
the way their
do.
the way their little minds work. It can be
it's
very
evil.
literal. It can
Yeah.
be evil and chaotic and very, very, very literal. Like we
Mhm.
have to be super careful about like pet water bowls because
Yeah.
apparently pet water bowls are just the most fabulous thing, and it's fun to put things in the pet water bowls, like my phone. So yeah, you have to be hyper vigilant, and just be
Well,
glad
also,
you don't have Karamia's bedroom at your house. Karamia's bedroom is like Six Flags over tiny fragile objects. And of
yeah.
course, Ada, the first thing Ada does when she gets here, she tells me, I need to check on something in Karamia's room. And that is code for I'm going to put things in my pocket and then in the dog's dish. So believe me, I know it's exhausting.
They're sneaky. They're so sneaky.